When I began to read this morning and really wanting to know what God was saying in the next step, in the next dimension of what he is doing in us and through us and for us, he began to make me aware that now that the lie has been removed, the teacher is now present. There is an old saying that says, when the student gets ready, the teacher will show up. But in this instance, the new saying is, when the lie is erased, the teacher of the truth will show up. The Bible been telling us about, for he shall lead, meaning the Spirit of God shall lead and guide us into all that is true. All the truth. Not just some of the truth, not just part of the truth. But this Spirit is designed, produced and orchestrated by God to get into the minds and the hearts and the souls of the believers, to lead them and guide them into all truth. The funny thing about the leading and the guiding of the truth of the Lord, that when the truth have been embedded to a certain depth in us, when the truth have been placed in us and in a deep way, the Bible said, from the depths of our heart, because only the Spirit of God searches the mind and the spirit and knows the depths of the heart. And so in order to rid the heart of the lie, the Spirit of God must have the power to go to the depths, of the heart, which means the power of God have the ability to go deeper than the lie. Because if it doesn't have the power to go deeper than the lie, then it'll have no way of pushing the lie up out of our spirit and freeing us. Sometimes when the Spirit of truth comes, because our ears and our minds and our mindsets are accustomed to the lies, it becomes difficult to embrace the truth. As a matter of fact, a strange thing happens when truth shows up. Everything in us began to fight against the truth and become offended by the truth, because we're so used to living in the lie that we choose to believe that the lie is who we are rather than the truth is who we must become. So the Spirit of God is not in a place of stagnation. The Spirit of God doesn't do and then don't do anymore. The Spirit of God is a doing thing. It is constantly moving. And the minute you set your mind in the fact that what God has done is done, is the day that you begin to offend the Holy Spirit, because I'm ever evolving. I'm doing stuff that you don't even know that I'm doing. That's why when I tell you to bless me and I tell you to praise me, I'm telling you to praise me because I'm God and my Spirit is operating in a way in you that days to come, years to come, you will look back on this moment and realize what the Spirit of truth has done for me. When the book of Isaiah, the 30th chapter and the 20 and the 21st verse begins to talk to us Let me show you something that is going to help you. It says, my God, and though the Lord gives you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet your teacher with the capital T will not hide himself anymore, but your eyes will constantly behold your teacher, and your ears will hear a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. When you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left, then you will defile your carved images overlaid with silver and your molten images plated with gold. You will cast them away as a filthy blood-stained cloth, and you will say to them, be gone. In other words, there is no power to rebuke what hinders you until the spirit of adversity has been given, because the only thing that's going to make you seek God to a place that you find out what the truth is, there has to be an attack on the lie. My God, God has to permit the lie to turn on you. God has to permit the lie to knock you upside your head. God has to permit the lie to become your enemy.
Time comes when silence is betrayal, even when pressed by the demands of inner truth. Men do not easily assume the task of opposing their government's policy, especially in time of war. Nor does the human spirit move without great difficulty against all the apathy of conformist thought within one's own bosom and in the surrounding world. Some of us who have already begun to break the silence of the night have found that the calling to speak is often a vocation of agony, but we must speak. We must speak with all the humility that is appropriate to our limited vision, but we must speak.
I've chosen to preach about the war today because I agree with Dante that the hottest places in hell are reserved for those who in a period of moral crisis maintain their neutrality. Now, of course, one of the difficulties in speaking out today grows out of the fact there are those who are seeking to equate dissent with disloyalty. It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. And I say that those who are seeking to make it appear that anyone who opposes the war is a fool or a traitor or an enemy of our soldiers is a person who has taken a stand against the best in our tradition. There will be no meaningful solution until some attempt is made to know these people and hear their broken cry.
And I knew that I could never again raise my voice against the violence of the oppressed in the ghettos without having first spoken clearly to the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today, my own government. We are called to speak for the weak, for the voiceless, for the victims of our nation, and for those it calls enemy. For no document from human hands can make these humans any less our brothers. We are met by deep but understandable mistrust. To speak for them is to explain this lack of confidence in Western words, and especially their distrust of American intentions now. Now that is little left to build on save bitterness. The world now demands a maturity of America that we may not be able to achieve. I am as deeply concerned about our own troops there as anything else, for it occurs to me that what we are submitting them to is not simply the brutalizing process that goes on in any war where armies face each other and seek to destroy. We are adding cynicism to the process of death, for they must know after the short period there that none of the things we claim to be fighting for are really involved. And the more sophisticated surely realize that we are on the side of the wealthy and the secure while we create a hell for the poor. Somehow this madness must cease. We must stop now. This way of settling differences is not just. A nation that continues year after year to spend more money on military defense than on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual death. I speak as a citizen of the world, for the world as it stands aghast at the path we have taken. I speak as one who loves America, to the leaders of our own nation. The great initiative in this war is ours. The initiative to stop it must be ours.
This mystery, remove your shoes, bow down. Where you stand right now is holy ground. The fire burns. Sit at my feet and learn as I reveal my plan. And I tell you who I am. I am, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I am, and I've chosen you to set my people. Set